Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Ted Stewart. I do work for Exida, and today we're going to be speaking on how and why to become a CFSE or CFSP. Here's a quick bio about myself. My name is Ted Stewart. I'm a project manager here at Exida. I've been recently working with the CFSE program. I now manage it. And we're continually, every day, making this program better. Our ultimate goal is to be the most prestigious personnel certification program in functional safety. And I always like to start by saying, if you have any comments, any suggestions, please let me know. And I would love to hear your opinion on this program as well. Little quick information about Exida. We're a worldwide company. You can see all of our different locations. One of the newest offices that we are opening is we are opening an office in Japan, which is really exciting for us. You see here we have a full suite of products and services. We range anywhere from consulting, engineering tools, product certification, training, reference materials, and today we're going to be speaking more on the professional certification. Okay, before I start with this slide, I want to let everybody know that there is a question tab on your screen. If at any time you do have a question, I would love to answer it. I may not answer it right away, but I will definitely get to it by the end. But please, the more questions, the better, because it doesn't only help you, it helps everybody. So why become a CFSE or CFSP? As an engineer responsible for critical industrial processes, you face a variety of challenges. It can be coping with new and challenging standards, increased pressures for process uptime and plant safety, a growing list of responsibilities. It can even decreased availability of support personnel. Now, this makes it difficult to develop, maintain, and document the expertise needed to excel at your job. The companies that you work for are being driven to run leaner operations and optimize performance. Company awareness. Now, it can help reduce the risk for catastrophic or safety-related accidents such as the explosion at Texas City. It killed about 15 people, injured over 180 people. And also the fire at Buncefield Oil Depot. This resulted in over $1 billion, close to $2 billion as a loss. Okay, now this all could have been avoided if practices were taking place. Consequently, it is more important than ever to have personnel that are competent in safety system design be part of the process for engineering and deploying safety equipment. Having trained and having competent people is a requirement for compliance with the international safety standards IEC 61508, IEC 61511, also known as ISA 84, ISO 26262, and IEC 62061. Now, gaining functional safety knowledge can save money by simplifying regulatory compliance, reducing engineering costs, and preventing unplanned downtime. Completing a functional safety certification program, such as the CFSE program, can help address these challenges. Standards require proof of qualification to ensure safety knowledge and skills are up to date, and some companies now require that CFSE holders oversee safety projects and CFSP holders execute them. The CFSP program is the most prestigious and stringent, and it represents the best demonstration of competency in the world. So now ask yourself, do you want to be a CFSE, a certified functional safety expert? Or what about a certified functional safety professional? We're now going to go and walk through the application process and learn what it takes to become a leader in our industry. So, what do you want to be, a CFSE or a CFSP? How do you know if you're eligible? Well, let's take a look at these first, the CFSP requirements. A candidate that is applying for the CFSP must have a minimum of 2 years of safety-related experience. As you can see from the chart in front of you, this experience doesn't have to be just professional experience. It can be school-related as well. You see here, if you have a bachelor's degree in engineering, there's 3 years. Even if it's at a technical degree, you still can subtract 2 years from your eligibility, which right there will give you enough. So if you're fresh out of college, you got your engineering degree, you're ready to go, yes, you can go ahead and take the CFSP. Now let's look at how you can become eligible to be a CFSE. To become one, you need 10 years of experience. Do you meet these requirements? Notice that a higher level of education, you may subtract respective years from that 10-year minimum to qualify. For example, if you have your bachelor's degree in engineering, you may subtract 3 years from the 10-year requirement. As long as you've been in the field as an engineer for greater than 7 years, you qualify. Okay, you can also look here. If you have your master's degree, you get 4 years off. Then, if you go and get your PE, you can take an additional year off of that. Okay, so you see how that works. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Now that you understand the initial requirements, let's take a look at the application. The first step in becoming a CFSE or CFSP is to simply fill out the application form. This is a quick 4-page application which asks for generic information. Some of that information will include which exam are you going to take, personal information, like your name, address, contact information, the normal stuff. You'll need your education. We'll need also your professional experience, and then also professional references, which we just call referees. On the and then once you finish this application, you can email it actually to the CFSE administrators. That's right. There's no more need to send any documents via the postal service. I mean, you can still send it that way. However, we now would like you to email everything. Scan your paper, copy the documents, email them to admin@exetercfsd.com, and you can see that right in front of you, admin@exetercfsd.com. Now, a quick comment. On the education portion of the application, many people ask us about the transcripts and if they must request these transcripts from their respective universities. The short answer, no. You may simply scan a copy of your diploma and send it electronically. And if we have any questions after that arrives to our administrators, they'll contact you and let you know if they need something else. I know previously we had a question on the earlier portion where they said, hey, my diploma is not in English. Is that a problem? The answer is no. As long as you let us know the what you got your degree in, and we can double check and we can go from there. But no, you do not have to worry about translating or creating a new diploma so that it's in English. Now, once the applicants have their application and they send it to the administrators, it is then filtered into the CFSE database. Then it goes into the CFSE CFSP tracker system. The administrators will then send a welcome email. They'll send this to every applicant that basically that informs them that they have been approved and are eligible to take an exam. If you see this welcome email, you have been officially qualified and you meet the initial requirements. At this time, an applicant turns into a candidate. Now, a candidate is someone that does meet these requirements and can sit an exam. A candidate will now be given a username and a password for the CFSP tracker. As a candidate sends in their application, the tracker system will be updated to show which items are completed and which ones are outstanding. Do also note that this is a manual process still, so it might be a business or two, 1 or 2 business days since the arriving of the documents for us to update that tracker. Okay, so it's not instantaneously, but do note it will be updated within the next 1 or 2 business days. Here's a helpful hint. You may sit an exam with an incomplete application. However, you will not be given your results until the application is complete. All right. Also note, this is another very important one. I'll probably say this one again. If you're using a Gmail or a Hotmail account, communicate this with our CFSE administrators. Please, please, please place their email in their safe sender list. Okay. This way, you can avoid it from going to your junk or your spam filters, because this is where all the information is going to come from. Now, here's a view that one would see when they log into their CFSE or CFSP tracker system. Notice that the candidate can immediately see if anything is outstanding. The tracker system will be updated when items are received from the candidate. Now, take a look at the screen here in front of you. When all the fields are complete, you will be able to receive your exam results as soon as the exam has been graded. Now, if you were to take the exam prior to the fields being completed, the exam results will be set aside and placed on hold and will not be released until the application is complete. And also, besides the application being complete, as you see at the very bottom, payment is included in the application tracker. Okay, so that is part of the application. People say, well, if I haven't paid yet, can I get my results? No, you have to get everything completed, and then everything will get submitted and released to you. Now, it is the responsibility of the candidate to confirm that his or her application is complete. We have some steps in our process to where we can send gentle reminders to people to send in more of their information. However, we feel it is the responsibility of the candidate to make sure that their information is complete now that you have this type of system in place. And also note that we are always asking for suggestions, comments, feedback. We're always improving this system, and this whole tracker system was just simply created with our candidates in mind to help bring awareness to let them know about anything outstanding at their own convenience. Now that you understand the application, let's talk about the exam and the process. There are 5 different types of exams that you may select from. Selecting the correct exam type, it plays a major factor in passing and failing. When the exam is selected and the exam date has come, here are some helpful tips to better prepare yourself. And I'll probably go over this again in another slide, but I like to get it out front. First off, bring one form of identification. Bring a pen, bring a pencil. Either are acceptable. Just make sure you have one just in case the facility where you take the exam, for whatever reason, doesn't have one. The more prepared you can be, the better. Only bring a non-programmable calculator, not one that you can obviously program and put different programs in there. You may bring a reference material, but you cannot share any of this reference material with any of your coworkers. Okay, so sure, if you have a standard or your buddy has this other standard, you kind of want that standard, you must have your own standards so there's no cross or mixing of information. Another thing people ask, hey, wear comfortable clothes. I like to wear business casual. There's no need to come in here and bring a suit. We know this is a very elite program, and we understand that people do wear suits to these exams. However, I'm here to tell you can wear comfortable clothes because when you take an exam, the last thing you need is to be uncomfortable. Also, please arrive 20 to 30 minutes early prior to the exam start to allow for any questions or paperwork. This is just a great thing to do just in case there's a traffic jam out there or something were to happen in the morning. If you prepare and you come earlier, you're able to breathe. You can find the hotel room or wherever the training or the exam is being held at. Because here's the one thing: when you're taking your exam, here's another thing. When you do take your exam and you are in the room and to get us started, feel free, write on that exam test or on that test. Because if a question seems unclear, you're permitted to explain the answer you chose. And if you select an answer that isn't correct, but your justification shows the grader, why you chose that answer, you still might get partial credit for that question, or even full credit depending on your answer. And what I was going to say about arriving early is if for whatever reason you aren't able to make it on that morning, car accident, maybe a traffic jam, and you get there late, unfortunately, and I don't mean to be mean, but you cannot come into that exam. The doors get shut because those people that got there early, took the time, stayed at maybe the hotel or the place of the exam, and were prepared. We don't want to interrupt them and jeopardize their tests. Okay. Now, of course, if you're unable to make the exam, we're not going to make a penalty. We just simply ask you to reschedule, find a new date, and you can take the exam on that date. All right, the CFSE exam. Let's go into the format. It's 4 hours long. It was in the past held in the afternoon. However, seeing how people's flights are and they're trying to get out for different things, we are holding it in the morning. It starts at 9 a.m. The exam consists of short answer and multiple choice questions. There are 40 multiple choice questions and 10 short answer questions. Actually, you have to answer 10 short answer questions because in reality, the short answer, there's actually more than 10 questions on there, and you get to select 10 of those questions to answer because there are some questions as the short answers that you may not easily understand or might not be in one of your areas of expertise. So you can select 10 and there's usually about 12 actually on there. So 10 of the 12 or so, you can select different questions, and you don't have to answer 2 of them as long as you get 10 of them done. In order to pass the exam, you will need an 80% to pass. Let's talk about the CFSD exam format. This consists of 2 different portions. The first part is in the morning, alongside the CFSP exam. The morning session for CFSE is short answer and a case study. You'll have 4 hours to complete the short answer and case study. You will need to answer a total of 50 points amongst the short answer and the case study part. And this is just like when I spoke about the short answer for CFSP. You'll have more questions, more short answer, more case studies, and cumulatively you will need 50 points answered for the morning session. Afternoon session. The morning goes from 9 to 1 p.m. The afternoon, it starts at 2 p.m. and it goes to 4 p.m. 2 hours long. The afternoon session consists of multiple choice questions. In order to pass the exam, now bear with me, because the first time you hear it may be a little confusing, you need to score at least 60% in the multiple choice area and 70% in the short answer and case study category. But you need 80% of total amongst the whole exam to pass. So, for instance, if you were, and this is what I mean, but if you were to score, let's say, an 80% on short answer, or excuse me, you split like a 70% on short answer, you're now going to need more like a 90% on the multiple choice side to hit that 80% pass rate. Okay, so I hope you understand that. If you don't, please send emails my way, ask questions, type in your question bar there that you have in front of you, and I can give some more examples if that isn't understood. Okay, now that you've selected the type of exam, it's time to prepare. Here are some helpful tips on materials and items that we feel you should bring to the exam. Okay, first off, I know I touched on this, but I like to just reiterate the fact, no programmable calculators will be allowed. Here are some standards for reference materials. You can bring 61508, 61511. If you're taking the automotive exam, bring the ISO 26262. Also, within the different types, I should have added automotive in here. We're actually holding a new CFSE automotive in March. You can go to our website and you can see everything. But for the process, you want to bring at least Part 1 and 61511. Machine, bring at least 26061. Software and hardware, you can bring different sections of the 61508 standard. And if you see there on hardware, imagine that on Part 2 it does say 61508. Okay, and then automotive, you do want to bring the ISO 26262 standard with you. Now again, you have to bring your own documentation, manuals, or standards for your exam. There is no sharing permitted. Here again, I know we touched on the exam preparation. I'd like to touch on it again because we do get a lot of questions on here. You are not allowed to bring computers or laptops, not allowed to be on your cell phone in the exam, no programmable calculators. You're not allowed to bring in exam-specific notes. Okay. Now, other textbooks, publicly available, published course material, notebooks, all of these things are allowed and useful to the candidates. I also want to let you know here that this was a big question, and we actually brought it to the board. But the CFSP study guide is permitted for the exam. You are allowed to bring that exam in. Okay. I know in the past people have been impartial, but we are allowing study guide to be brought into. Now we understand that there could be some issues with traveling, and I know I touched on that before. Remember to arrive a little early. When you do arrive, you do want at least one type of identification, either your government-issued passport or a driver's license. Candidates will not be admitted to the exam after the announcements. Like I said, I know I touched on that before, but it's unfortunate when it happens. But we have to allow the people that are there as much time and without any obstructions or distractions possible. Now, what does a typical exam day look like? I know I touched on it before, but once again, to see it in front of you, the CFSP is in the morning. You like to get there around 8:30. This way you can sign in. You can fill out the different forms for you. At 9 o'clock sharp, we start. It goes to 9 to 1. The CFSP is the entire exam. And for CFSE, you do the short answer and case study, and then there'll be a lunch. You'll get about 45 minutes to an hour on lunch. Just get back as soon as you can, because at 2 o'clock sharp starts the CFSE multiple choice, and it goes to 4 o'clock. Okay, now that the exam preparation and the exam taking is finished, what happens next? Okay, you take the exam, you're happy, great. So what happens next? The proctor will then package all the exam and mail them to the CFSE corporate office. Your exam will now be graded. There are 2 graders that we assign to your specific exam. These graders know absolutely nothing about the candidate, and all they see is a candidate ID number. This helps keep our graders impartial, and the graders also cannot be the proctor nor the trainer. Okay, so whoever sat in front of you for the exam and whoever taught you will not be grading you. Okay, now it's because the program, we're extremely strict when it comes to keeping trainers and graders separate. The CFSE program, and the reason why we're different from everybody else is we follow the ANSI IEC 17024 standard. That's ANSI ISO 17024 standard. One comment to let you know about these graders is these graders could be in different parts of the world. We like to diversify it as much as we can. We have certified trainers that will take these exams and grade them and bring them back to us, hence why. And currently we have improved the process. It's originally 6 to 8 weeks for this process to happen. However, with a newer process that we have in place, we are reducing this lead time. But I do, for the time being, I still need to stay 6 to 8 weeks to receive your results. Okay. Now, if a trainer was allowed to grade, I'm going to get on a tangent, but bear with me so I can help prove a point. If a trainer was allowed to grade an exam, this could be a conflict of interest. If a program, here we go, if a program gives a training and then gives an exam from the training material, would you feel confident that they are an expert or a professional in their field when they pass? Okay, here's an example. If I want to be like known as the best and well-respected car mechanic in the world, would you feel okay if I decided to take a week-long training course, a great course by that, however, then take an exam on that training material, and when I pass, will you call me an expert? Knowing this, will you feel okay if I then say, hey, yeah, I can replace that clutch, or let me fix that piston in your car? I don't know. But believe it or not, this is, as silly as it sounds, it's not uncommon. Many organizations out there currently do this. Why? Because it's a great way to build reputation. It's a great revenue income stream, and it has a very high pass rate. The CFSD CFSP program is not interested in this. We're more interested in producing safer, more reliable experts. And that's the difference between a certificate program and a certification program. When you become a CFSP or CFSE, I mean, you should walk around with your shoulders and head held high. There's no other certification program, in my opinion, that is as prestigious and more thorough than ours. Okay, sorry. Like I said, I get on a tangent. Let me get back to the exam. Okay, once the first grader, he looks through your exam, reads all of your comments, he assigns a score, and gives the exam back to the CFSE administrator. Okay? That administration then takes the exam and sends it off to grader number 2. This grader then reviews grader 1's remarks and comments, and then regrades the exam. When both graders finish, a score is given, and if grader 1 scores a passing grade and grader 2 scores a failing grade, the CFSE administrator then assigns a 3rd grader to review the discrepancies. Once this is finished, the CFSE administration will verify that the application is complete. He updates the CFSE tracker system, and the results are sent out. Now, I'd like to make a statement again, because it's very important. If you use an email address like Gmail or Hotmail, please make sure the administration email address is on your safe sender list. It's very frustrating, in my opinion, to be waiting for results, have everything completed, but then to have the email from the administration blocked solely because it was sent to your spam or junk folder. Also know when I say the exams are sent out, the application once again has to be complete. Please make sure the application is complete. Okay? And then there you go. Once you pass the exam, you get your certificate. Here's the one that I got. I became a CFSP. Within the next year or so, I'll qualify to take the CFSD exam. I'm really excited about that. But right now, I'm a CFSP. Now I'm gonna get over to some of the questions that were asked. Okay. The first question I have here is how much time is required between the test and the results? That's a great question. Like I said in a previous slide, it is between 6 to 8 weeks. Once you take the exam, have it mailed over to the U.S. because the exams can be any part of the world. They come over to us. We send it to the different graders. They all grade, and then we update the tracker. In about 6 to 8 weeks, you will get your results. However, with this new process that we have in place, because we're going more electronic, we're seeing lead times drastically reducing. Okay, but right now I can only say 6 to 8 weeks. Next question. I am a TUV certified functional safety engineer. Do you suggest me to go for the CFSE certification as well? What is the difference between TVFSD and CFSP? Great question. Like I mentioned before, from my opinion, is what I've learned is that the TVFSD is more based off that training. So you do take the training course, you have to take the training course, and then take an exam right after the fact. That's more of a certificate program. They've been around for ages. Yes, CFSP is different. CFSE is different. We're more of a certification where we do not require you to take a training course. You can simply come in, prove to us that you are an expert or a professional, and you will get your certification. We do not require any kind of training, and that's the difference there. Is we want to only certify people that are true experts or true professionals and don't need a 1-week refresher. Of course, you can take it. I recommend it. However, you do not need it. And so that is one of the differences there. And yes, I do suggest you take certification as well. If I graduated, next question. If I graduated from a country which doesn't use English as the mother language, do I need to transfer the certificate into English before? No, you do not. Send it on in. Let us know your diploma or whatever you're sending in, and we will make sure that if we do have any questions, we will email you back. But no, just because it's in a different language, you're okay. Okay, so is it possible to send a soft file of the certificate to the candidate when you send out the results? Yeah, actually, what we can do is once results are known and there's a passing grade, what we can do is instead of you having to wait for the paper certificate, we can also, and I'll verify with the administration, but I think they already do this, is they will send you an email with your certificate, and they will also mail you your certificate, so you can have both forms. They make it all nice. They print out nice glossy paper. They send it out. I don't know the accurate terms there, but yes, they will print out, but they will also send you an electronic file as well. If you did not receive one, and that's why you're asking, please just send an email to the email admin at xthecfsc.com, and they'll get that right out to you. And if you want to copy me on the email, I'll make sure it gets done as well. And you can tell them I said that. Okay, next one. Do I need to have my application and payment complete before I receive my exam results? Yes, you do. Like I said, the payment is actually part of the application process, so everything needs to be completed, including payment, before you receive your exam results. But you can take that exam prior to having it complete. That way there's no holdup if there's a certain time you really want to take that exam. Next question. Good questions, by the way. Is experience in general engineering is the experience general engineering, or does it need to be specific to the field of safety? We love it, obviously, to be experienced in safety. However, the experience is really in the engineering realm. It doesn't have to be in functional safety, but more than likely, the admins have a list of approved fields or experience, and go ahead and whatever field you're in, send it in and say, here's my 10 years of experience or 2 years, whatever you need, depending which exam you take, and they'll let you know where you stand if you want to wait until making any kind of payment or starting any application. We can do that to you pretty quickly. Okay, next question. All right, how does the CFSE, CFSP certifications offered by Exeter compare to the certificate programs via the isa.org site? Of the two offerings, which is the most attractive to potential clients? That's kind of a hard question for me to answer. Obviously, I can tell you that I'm biased because I do feel the CFSE or CFSD program definitely succeed ISA only because we're a certification company and they're a certificate program. However, there's different ways to show competence, and so in my opinion of the two, I do believe if you become a CFSE or CFSP, it's much more stringent, it's much more thorough. You don't have to actually take a training to become one, and that just kind of shows the edification of the program. Is the guide allowed if you wrote, is the study guide allowed if you wrote notes or have written answers to practice questions in it? This is talking about the study guide, the CFSP study guide. If they have notes in it and they have answers to some of their practice questions, are you allowed to bring it in? Yes, you are. If the proctor does see some questionable material in there for whatever reason, he or she does have the right to take that from you. However, if you're just working on sample problems, there's no reason why you can't bring that in. Next question: do you offer courses in Germany or working together with other companies? Yes, we do. And like I told you, we are. We just ramped a CFSE, CFSP automotive program that's held by our Germany Exida Germany, and absolutely we do. And if there's interest and you don't see one on our training website, by all means, let us know, and we will do everything we can to make that possible for you. All right, next question. Are there any sample papers available for preparation of the CFSP? Yeah, if you go to that website in front of you, www.exoduscfse.com, actually, I'll do this live for you. I can show you where it is. Give me one moment here. All right. Let me open a new tab. Sorry about that, you guys. Exeter. All right, so you're at the website. Go to Forms and Documents, and if you look through here under References, you have the application checklist, you have sample case study, you have different forms, the code of conduct, and then down here you have sample exam question reports, sample exam questions for the P and the E, and then there's also a white paper. So I hope you can see that. All right, let me go back into presentation mode here. Good question. Now, is it mandatory to have a CFSP for applying to the CFSE, or can I go directly to CFSE with my TVFSD certification? Absolutely. You can go ahead, apply to the CFSE. You don't have to take the CFSP. The one thing I do need to make sure that you know is make sure you meet the qualifications and you have the experience. And as long as that's all good, you complete the application, by all means, we actually fully recommend you take that CFSE. How easy is it to renew my certificate once I pass? It's pretty simple. Every 3 years, you'll have to renew your certificate, your certification, and to do so, you just go on our website, you click on the renewal form, you update the application. It's a shortened version of the first application you fill out. Basically, we just want to know that you're still in the area, you're still in the field, you still do functional safety work, and as long as all that stuff checks out, you don't have to retake the exam. You pay a nominal fee, basically is for the application to renew the certification, to get the new certificate out to you, and you're good to go. It's a real quick process, and we made it as simple as we can. Okay, what is the pass rate for first-time delegates and those that don't pass on the first attempt? How many pass subsequently? Good question. However, I feel it's going to change for each individual person, but statistically what we found is the CFSP, there's about a 75 to 80% pass rate, and the CFSE, you're looking more at 65 to 70%. We're still waiting on the 2014 numbers to see how they are, but from previous numbers, that's where they stand. Now, what we've noticed within those numbers, though, is that many people work for organizations or companies that will allow you to take the exam prior to studying and any other knowledge, no trainings, nothing, just take the exam and see where you stand, which is fine. We're okay with that. However, a lot of people without any type of preparation will fail this exam. And those people that just simply take the exam are in those numbers that are published. And so with that being said, many people do take it more than once. We've had people take it 3 or 4 times, and they just want to, have refreshers, so they take the exam. Everyone, to each their own. What I prefer is I say, look, if you haven't been doing much in the functional safety, or you're in it but you don't touch it every day, I take a training with one of the agencies that offers trainings. And once you do that, I say you prepare for 2 or 3 months, and then you take the exam. A lot of people, though, they'll sit the training, and then they'll try and take the exam after the fact. That's fine. But, my recommendation is you take a training, you study, let it sink in, and then go find an exam in your area and take the exam. Do referees have to have special qualifications? No, they do not. Referees should be people that work with you every day, people that basically can sign off saying, yes, he's a good person, yes, I recommend him to get this CFSP or this CFSE. Next question. What are the main differences between the hardware-specific, the software-specific, and the general standards test, other than the obvious? Well, it's kind of the obvious. But basically what it means is if you're more into hardware, more into manufacturing type of side, you can take the hardware exam. If you all in the software or type B type products in certification world or OEM, that's more of electronics. We'll filter more questions towards that, and then the process, that's the one I took. That's more general. That's kind of an overall picture. I understand 61511. I understand 61508. I read them almost every day. So that exam for me was the best fit. Please specify PDF format. Yeah, so when you send over your documents, you want to send them over in a way where you can use the Adobe Acrobat, or anything that can create a PDF. If you don't have that capability, what I tell people, because we don't really want to receive a Word document, we don't really want to receive a document that can be altered or changed in any way. We don't want that responsibility. We say, look, if you have a Word document, go ahead and scan it, create a file. If you can't create it into a PDF, make it some type of image, and then you can email that over to us. That way, we can't change it, we can't alter it, and we feel more secure with it that way. Great question. One last question here. If more come in, please, I'll answer them. The last question is reference material. What can I bring? What's a great way to study for this exam if I'm not taking the training or if I am taking the training? Okay. Well, I do have that reference material link in front of you. That's my personal preference. I know Exeter, they do a great book package that's geared towards preparation and functional safety. Whether you take the exam or not, it's a great tool. It's like a 3-book package. Of those books, one is the study guide, so that's kind of nice. I recommend that. That's what I used personally when I was taking my exam. I loved it. I still use the books, but yeah. So that's what I would do if I were you. But of course, there's other agencies out there. If you like their reference materials better, please, by all means, use them. Okay. Well, great. Hey, you guys have some great questions. I really appreciate everyone's time. If you do think of some new questions or some follow-ups, please send them to my email address there, tstewart@exeter.com. Also, if you would like, actually I will do this, I have everybody's email address. I'm going to send my answers to these questions out to everybody in email. So if you didn't remember something, don't worry, I'll send you an email on all these answers, okay? Hey, thanks everyone. I really appreciate your time. If it was the morning, afternoon, or evening, I do appreciate this little amount of time you took out of your day. Have a great day, and next week we'll have another webinar. Thanks again. Take care for now. Bye-bye.